One of the extraordinary aspects of landscape is that it is equitable by nature. Everybody stands on this earth because of gravity. That connective tissue on which we stand has the capacity to uplift all. And what I love about this particular discipline is that it's the least expensive thing to manipulate to inform the greatest numbers of people. And I think that the quality and character of landscape is not only about defining it as resilient and adaptable in the context of environmental sustainability, but its capacity to represent culturally those who occupy it. And what I think is most beautiful about the connection between building architecture and landscape architecture is that we have the capacity to define ourselves as a society through design, through the representation of those places and spaces, and that in doing so, we have the capacity to reflect our culture, reflect all that is good about the built environment. And so landscapes in particular, buildings to a degree, are political constructs, largely because they are so reflective of culture, and open space in particular because it represents all. And I think what is extraordinary about the work that we do here at Land Collective is that our aspiration is humanist in origin, to ensure that all feel welcome, and that in that welcomeness of the design place, we really do strive to ensure that comfort and the capacity to communicate are at the fore, so that the occupation of those spaces, as described by the inclusion of very different sorts of people, allows those who would not normally speak to one another to find themselves comfortable enough to sit proximate to each other. And as a result of that adjacency, enter into a dialogue. That dialogue comes up with an idea, and that idea 10 years down the road saves the world. Then we will have been successful, not because we came up with the idea that saves the world, but we are capable of designing places where conversations are possible. And in an era of nationalism and xenophobia, conversations are what's going to be able to lift up culture and to assist us in recognizing that we are truly separated by minute particles of DNA and cultural nuance, that we are more alike than different. And that's what a well-designed public space or publicly accessible private space allows one to do, to facilitate conversations between people. And while it is made more complex in the context of COVID, where we have to be separated by 6 feet to have that conversation, it's in even greater conflict in the context of social unrest, when landscapes afford people the opportunity for identity. We see ourselves, we see each other in the context of landscape. And so ensuring that occupation is possible, that conversation is possible, so that identity can be acknowledged, so that conversation can be facilitated, is an incredibly important aspect of design right now. And so as we begin to look to our newly changing world and what might come after, we have to be purposeful in not only defining environments that are safe, but defining environments that still afford people to be able to see themselves. Everyone should feel welcome. Everyone should have the capacity to see themselves present, to the exclusion of no one, so that everybody sees the opportunity to converse. Everybody sees the likenesses and the nuances that make us different. And that's an extraordinary opportunity, particularly as we face the world as we know it in the present day.